Hey, Justin Cofield here, born and bred in the great state of Texas. If you're thinking about moving to Austin, Texas, here are 5 mistakes I don't want you to make. Austin is a phenomenal city. It's rich with history and culture and industry. It has an incredibly laid-back vibe and it's full of Texas spirit. I love Austin. I've lived here for 20 years and it continues to develop to be a great place to live and to work and to raise a family. But like every city, there's certain things that you need to know before you move here. Let's get right into it. This is number 1, where to live. As Austin has developed over the years, as with most metropolitan areas, traffic has become an issue. And that being said, one thing you should consider is that if you work north of the river, don't live south of the river. Here's what I mean. The city of Austin has a beautiful river running through the center of it. It runs west to east and it's called Lady Bird Lake. Well, it's kind of a lake, but it's actually a river and I can explain that later. It's gorgeous, has lots of benefits. It's got hiking trails and it's got restaurants and it's got parks. It is beautiful. But the downside is there are very few arteries that move north to south to carry you across Lady Bird Lake. That makes crossing the lake during high traffic times really, really, really complicated. So if you're thinking about moving to Austin and you're gonna work south, you should consider living south. If you're gonna work north, you should consider living north. Now, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. It's just something you should consider unless you enjoy spending hours on end in the car, held captive on a freeway and geeking out on podcasts. Totally do it. Number 2, east versus west. Well, it's not really east versus west. What's obvious is when you look on a map of Austin, there's a major freeway that runs down the middle of the city. It's called I-35. This major thoroughfare can be the source of much agony. But what a lot of folks don't realize is that the soil and landscape change on either side of I-35. The west side of I-35 is where downtown Austin is, and beyond that to the west is known as the beautiful Texas Hill Country. The soil to the west tends to be rocky and hard and dry. It's rugged but beautiful. There's lots of bluffs and hills. It's gorgeous, but hard, dry, rocky soil. To the east of I-35 is mostly clay and more flat. There are lots of farming communities. It's beautiful, like with grassy fields and open, lush landscape. But with that clay soil comes expansion and contraction when we have our extreme Texas weather. Now, all home foundations settle. That's totally normal to have a little bit of settling. But the thing that you need to watch out for on the east side is significant settling, significant foundation movement, primarily with older homes. I've sold lots of homes on the east side and I've lived on the east side. It's incredible, it's great. Just make sure as you're looking at homes east of I-35 that you pay attention to the telltale signs of foundation movement. Number 3, mud tax. What the heck is a mud tax? Now, let me explain. MUD stands for Municipal Utility District. And here's what happens. Oftentimes when a developer is building out a neighborhood, they incur costs on the front end to put in things like water lines and sewer lines and all of that stuff that goes under your house that you need. And what they do is when they have these costs, they pass them on to you in the form of a tax. And sometimes that tax can last 20 to 30 years and it helps them recoup the cost. It's fair, but nobody likes to pay tax. So when you're looking at new construction homes, be aware whether there is a MUD tax or not. Sometimes they call it a PUD tax, a public utility district, or a PID. It's disguised in several different ways, but as you're looking at new construction, be aware of this. It's not always a deal breaker. Sometimes it's not that bad, but it can be bad, and I don't want you to get surprised when you're looking at new construction and then you realize how much your monthly payment's gonna be. Watch out for the MUD tax. Number 4, not all suburbs are equal. Austin is a great city and surrounded by some great communities, but not every suburb is as commutable as the others. Now, if you need to work in a certain area, be sure you look at major arteries that connect you from your home to work. And some of those major highways in Austin are more easily traveled than others. You look at Mopac and Highway 183 and Highway 290 and Highway 71, I-35, Toll 130. 360. I need to make a song out of it. Those are all major thoroughfares, but some cities are just not as accessible as others. This can be a pretty hyper-local thing. So if you have questions about areas that you're interested in, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to talk you through it, walk you through it. There's just some areas that are not as commutable. The other thing that you can do that can help is you can get more info on Austin neighborhoods and communities by downloading our relocation guide. It's got lots of great info. If you're thinking about moving to Austin, I'll leave a link in the notes. Number 5, property taxes. I know, the dreaded T word, nobody likes to talk about it, but yes, in Texas we have a property tax. We don't have an income tax, but we have a property tax. It is what it is. Property tax in Texas is assessed by the county at the county level. Different counties, different neighborhoods even have different tax rates, so be sure you look at your tax rate when you're looking at a home. Look at what the tax rate is for that neighborhood. If it's over 3, that's a lot. If it's under 3%, that's pretty normal. If it's under 2%, that's great. But be sure and pay attention to your tax rate. Another thing that you can do is you can apply for a homestead exemption. Here's what that is. Homestead exemption helps put a cap on how much your value can go up every year, so it kind of helps mitigate that. You can only put a homestead exemption on your primary residence, and you can only apply for it after you've lived in that residence through a January. But look at homestead exemption. The other thing that you can do is you can protest your property assessed value every year. I encourage you to do it. It also helps keep that cap low, keeps that property value in check, and helps save you a little bit on property taxes. I know it's not fun, but it is what it is. If you're moving to Texas, be aware of property tax and watch out. 5 things that you need to watch out for if you're moving to Austin, Texas. I am a local realtor. I've lived here for 20 years. If you have questions or if I can help you in any way, please, I'd be honored. Please reach out, call, text, email. My wife and I are a team. We work together. We love Austin and the surrounding communities. I post new videos every week. Be sure and hit the subscribe button, the like button. I would love to hear your comments. And as always, thank you for watching.